Alright, thank you and welcome. So therefore, fellow Africans, being on 10th of February 2025, I am once again profoundly honored to present to you our 21st episode of the Change for African campaign. So therefore, fellow Africans, being on Monday, as usual, we discuss the governance in Africa, or the governance we want in Africa. Fellow Africans, allow me to repeat this because I have said this and not once, not twice, but then I would say that governance is the software of development in any organization, country, or continent. And so therefore, fellow Africans, today, as we had agreed before, that we are going to use the UNSDG goals, or the United Nations Sustainable or Strategic Development Goals, to help us exemplify on our pillar of governance in Africa. Because governance, as I said, that it is the software of development, because the moment we have good governance, then it means we are having people in place who really understand what needs to be done to the citizen or to its people. And so in Africa, that is still quite a dream to be dreamt by more people, because the current state of governance in Africa does not really give us a guarantee that we want to have a great future to come, because regardless of the potential that we are having as a continent of Africa. And so therefore, a country to help us exemplify on our today's pillar, which is always governance on Mondays, will be the country of Kenya, country number 254, a country in the eastern part of Africa. And so the very UNSG goal that I want us to focus on, it is what we had focused on before about the quality education, and something that has touched me or caught my attention to go back to that UNSDG goal number 4 about the quality education, which is the UNSDG goal number 4. It is because of what I saw actually in some recent days concerning some school or the state of education in Turkana County. There's this guy by the name, the president of comedy in Africa, emeritus Eric Omondi. Eric Omondi is a Kenyan, just an ordinary Kenyan, who was concerned about some learning, the conditions in which children were learning in Turkana County. So guys, this is Eric Omondi, actually in Turkana himself, and this was the state in which children were learning, and actually you can see just a coach or a teacher trying to instruct the children on the board somewhere, just leaning on a tree, and children just sitting on the ground. That's Eric Omondi trying to just see how they are seated down. They have that hunger of education. Now they have right down, and things are just hard for many children in this country in terms of education systems. See, these are small children who should be getting education. Children were learning under a hot scorching sun in Turkana County. And so this was just a concerned citizen that guys look, and with what he does with team Sisi kwa Sisi, or a team that in simple time I can term it as a team that people depend on each other, so we can raise funds to just help a citizen that feels that we can help that person in one way or the other. And so we have the county government of Turkana, which is not really actually concerned or does not even understand the state of the education in Turkana, and so Eric Omondi saw it as a good thing, since these are small children and they are learning under a hot scorching sun. Remember, Turkana is a desert, or a semi-desert, and so he raised the funds, and then he got some iron sheets and put up a structure that children can be able to have at least a convenient environment to help them go on with their education on daily basis. And just some days after that incident of Eric Omondi putting up a structure, the county government, as per reports I'm getting, the county government came and demolished the structure and put the structure down. What does this mean? This is how the government or the state of governance in Africa is leaking. This is the true picture of the African governance. This Turkana in Kenya is just an example, just an epitome example of what is happening generally in Africa. That those who are democratically elected, or those who are given the mandate by the citizens, to lead, or to help in putting up, or to help in making sure that its citizens, have access to quality services in terms of health, in terms of education. They are not really concerned. That is none of their business, because at what moment does it mean that after somebody has that empathy in him, has come and done something, it is when you realize that this person did not do something good, and you go demolish that thing, instead of using even those minutes and hours of demolishing that? Because actually this is a county government, or wherever it is, as long as it is the government in Turkana, or from where, these are people who have been given mandate to lead. And what did they do? Actually, they hired some people to go and demolish that structure in Turkana County. Hiring these people, it is public money they are using. That is how rebarbative, that is how nonsensical some of these governance systems in Africa are. That is how some of these governance systems really operate. They are not ready to make the change, but then when somebody tries, somebody who is not even getting a penny from taxes, who is not even getting a penny, not being paid, by the public money. But these people who are paid by public money, these people, everything is funded. These people are given money to at least do development in their areas. But then what do? They sleep on that money. Whatever they do with the money, nobody knows about it. But we know that money is not appropriately used in these institutions in Africa. This is why we have an obligatory concern in making sure that the state of governance, for us to make a step as an African continent, really have to come up in boldness, because this is what mostly the youth of Africa. Remember, Africa has a population of about 1.2 to 1.4 billion persons, or people in Africa. Youth account to about 60% of that population. 60% of that is about 720 to 800 million. Africans are youth. These are young minds. These are people at very young ages, and these are people who are going into that atmosphere. Then these are people who are still rising up. How are we making sure that as these people rise up, they do not inherit, or they do not continue to remain in the same, not being raised in the same systems of governance? We have to see as the youth. That is why the Change for Africa campaign is here, in making sure that we civilize the African youth, aimed at civilizing the African youth of the importance of developing quality traits, of leadership, to a quality trait of good governance. Because, as I said, and allow me to reiterate, that governance is the software of development in any continent, organization, or a country. Anywhere, governance, because good governance guarantees us a triumph that we deserve as an Africa. Africa is a land of great potential. The only thing ailing the African continent, it is the governance. Once we have a good structured governance, while we have strategic interventions in terms of into our institutions, then we'll be developing a good governance, and we'll be developing a good environment for people to thrive, and different sectors to work and see things develop. So the issue about governance, it is a very broad issue that we need to be really concerned, that we need to be really dedicated to, in making sure that we civilize the African youth. And that is why the Change for Africa campaign came. And the other thing about the Change for Africa campaign, people may think that we are trying to see on how we can create some profiles of even rising into power, isn't soon. No, that is not our intention. My intention, or the intention of the people I work with, is to see how we can have a mass of African youth from the 54 sovereign states coming together with like-minded minds, understanding the issue facing Africa. And these are people who will now rise up, after they have understood the real problem of Africa, after they have understood the strategic, the pragmatic steps they need to take in terms of governance, in terms of structuring just development in their continent, in terms of incorporating, good minds, to people, good minds in terms of the traits, the leadership skills, The problem is leadership skills in very many parts of the world. But here it's Africa. We speak Africa because Africa is our business, and I am in Africa. I'm not an African because I was born in Africa, but maybe I am an African because Africa is in me. And so you need to be responsible. We need to be responsible of our great continent of Africa. Africa is a land of great potential. And so therefore, fellow Africans, having spoken all that on this day, or on a Monday, allow me to say that I'm very grateful because that is the end of our today's episode, and allow us to meet tomorrow as we discuss pillar number 2 about the potential that we have as Africa. Africa is the land of great potential. So therefore, fellow Africans, I wish you an interesting afternoon. God bless you, and let's meet tomorrow. Thank you.